And that was on a good leg and one good arm. Good morning, my talent development professionals. How are ya? Let me hear you again. How are ya? Good. You guys look great. I am so excited for today. Cannot even tell you how we are looking so forward to celebrating 70 years in talent development with you guys. Let me hear something for that. When ATD started, well, it wasn't ATD back then, but in 1946, I think it was, just a handful of professionals. And look at what we are now in terms of the chapter and what we've done. Over the years, training has changed so very much. Remember, we were just on-the-job training. We had CBTs, all those thick manuals, all those handouts, and we were just trainers, right? And so now we're not only trainers, we're training directors, training managers, chief learning officers, e-learning specialists, we're instructional designers. Social media has taken a part in what we do. Now we don't even have to leave our homes or classrooms for training, right? There's what? Virtual training. So 70 years for ATD Midlands has developed into so many things, and you guys are a part of our legacy. But think about it. Our future is bright, right? People like to say the future looks bright, but it is bright. And it's bright because of you guys. And so today is a culmination of what we've done over the past 7 years. When I joined in 2001, it was Carolina Society for Training Development. How many of you remember that? Yes. So we've evolved into so many things. So few of us met at Kelly and Suggs downtown. Now I think it's just Kelly. Yeah, he must have put Suggs to the side. We met at a couple other places. But our home and our partnership now is with Midlands Technical College. Yes, yes. They've taken care of us. They've accepted us as one of their own. We have our chapter learning meetings there. We've had our conferences there. So I appreciate Midlands Tech. If the Midlands Tech staff is here, faculty, let me see you stand up and so you can be recognized. They are a part of our legacy, but so much greater, they're part of our future, our bold future. I want to thank a few people before we get started this morning, because you didn't come to hear me talk, right? And I'm tired. And let me tell you something, I'm tired too. I want to lay down. I do, y'all. I just want to lay down. If y'all find me in the hallway, come get me later. Or you can put a plate down by me and I'll eat laying down. Yes. So I want to thank a few people before we get started. My board. This could not have been done, the chapter, all year long without the board members supporting the planning committee, things of that nature. If my board members are here, please stand or wave your hand. Somebody give them a round of applause. The planning committee, if you're here, these people have been working since last, really, November for this conference. And I'm telling you, day in and day out, my email box now can rest. And so can theirs. So if my planning committee, or the ATD Midlands Planning Committee, please stand. We want to acknowledge you for all your hard work. And with that being said, our chairperson this year is Vida Jennings, and she has meant a lot to me, not only for a colleague, but a friend. Vida's done a whole lot for the chapter over the years, and she's trying to run away from us, but she's not going anywhere. So with that being said, with all your hard work, Vida, I've got something for you. Now, I could have gotten you a big old gift basket. I could have gotten you all cute plaque. but I know that you like Starbucks. A nice Starbucks basket and doing all kind of cute stuff, but mine is very particular. Really, she's a little bougie. Yeah. So Biden is a $100 gift certificate. Some of you have been a part of the chapter for double-digit years, and I'd like to acknowledge you. If you've been a part of ATD, let's break it up. If you've been a part of ATD, God, how far should I go back?
I think we should go back at least 25.
Yeah, you've been 25 to 15 to 25 years part of the ATD movement.
Wait, is Craig in here?
Who's Craig? He is.
Craig's been in the movement like 30 years.
So thank you very much for being a part of that. If you've been, so that's from what, 30 to 25 years, you said longer than that. If you've been 15 to 10, let me see here. Ah! 10 to 5, wonderful.
Count all your years.
And 5 to newbie. Thank you guys. You guys are part of, what we'll do for the training and development and talent development field, as we move forward. So I just want to thank you, no matter what industry you work in, if you're a consultant, if you're a coach, you're an instructional designer, e-learning, training specialist, chief learning officer, whatever your title, whatever your role, I personally want to thank you for what you do. Sometimes training is a thankless job. We put in all the hard work. Sometimes I have to be the scapegoat for some things that don't go right. I see some amen corners. We can do a whole sermon on that. But at the end of the day, we're responsible for the training, development of the people in our organizations, right? So I thank you for what you do on a daily basis. Thank you so much. I want to thank anybody that served on any committees. My WLP committee, if you'll stand, if you're a part of that. The awards committee, well, we thank you. Any other committees? Our volunteers, if you're in here, if you help plan, if you're on a subcommittee, if you helped decorate, if you helped with anything part of the conference, please stand. We want to acknowledge you at this time. Well, my prayer is that you enjoy today, go forth and be bold in what you do. Help us to continue the legacy of what those few men started in 1946, and help us to continue to grow. Our bold future is really bold. Right now we have our very own app, y'all. We're the only, out of 130 some chapters across America, we're the first to step out and do our own app. Thank you to Michael Smith and Clay Walker for putting that together. Keeping with that bold future, we now have a special interest group for instructional designers and technology learners. Be a part of that. That's going to grow, guys. It's going to get big. Membership is growing. We're almost bursting at the seams at our monthly chapter learning events, but that's fine. If we have to, if you have to sit on my lap, that's fine. I don't know how that is HR-wise and whatever. But we want you to be a part of what's ours. So enjoy today, and I look forward to networking with you before 4:30 today. So have fun. Let us know if you like it. Let us know if you don't like it, and what we can do to change it. So I'm going to turn it over to, oh, she wants me to do announcements. Jesus. Okay, here we go. Then it's not working. Well, yeah, it's usually the error. Okay, so here we go. So join us in for Stop It taking necessary steps to bring things to a necessary end. So Friday, October 21st. Well, that's one way. Tamel Green, social media guys. I'm very excited about that. She is our Vice President of Marketing at ATD, so please mark your calendars. Hey, the Cancer Walk. Who's going to join us to help us beat cancer in the Midlands? All right. I won't walk or run because it will take me forever, but I will be out there with my cancer gear on, so join us if you'd like to be a part of that. Be a power member. If you're just a local member, we invite you to be a joint member of ATD and the ATD Midlands. Our app, if you don't have it, we're using it for everything today. Our schedules, our agendas, our sessions, our evaluation. So download it on Google and iTunes stores. It's ATD Midlands. And here is the Wi-Fi access. There's our login ID and a password. If you don't have it written down anywhere, it's actually on the agendas that you have at the very bottom. And so join us on social media. Tweet, Facebook, whatever else, LinkedIn, all that great stuff, Instagram. Conference hashtag is hashtag ATD 70 years. And we'd like to thank our sponsors, especially our hosts. Let's thank Scanner, y'all. 2 years ago. They've been so gracious, and we've enjoyed letting them have us here. We really appreciate it. We thank Midlands Tag. We know IT. Of course, my favorite, South Federal Credit Union. And then Expo. Thank you so much. You could win the BMW experience for the weekend. So that got some attention. If I happen to win, you can ride with me. So don't forget to make sure that you're here. You have to be here to win, okay? So you have to be here at the end. And that's about it. We're going to hand it over to Linda Caldwell from Scanner.
Thank you, and actually I would like to introduce our Vice President of Human Resources at this time. I'd like to call Anne-Marie Higgins up. She'd like to have a few words for you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Anne-Marie Higgins. I'm Vice President of HR here at SCANA, and I was starting to get really nervous when the music was coming on, thinking, oh my gosh, maybe I should have had an extra cup of coffee. But if we host again, maybe next year we could do the electric slide, since we're an energy-based holding company. We've been in business but we've been in business for about 160 years, providing electricity and natural gas to the Carolinas and Georgia. We're based here in Casey, South Carolina. We've got about 6,000 employees. And our major subsidiaries that you probably have heard of are SCE&G, South Carolina Electric and Gas. We probably provide energy to a majority of you in here, as well as PSNC in North Carolina, Natural Gas and Services. And then in Georgia, we've got SCANA Energy. So that's a little bit about us. You probably know that we are building 2 new nuclear plants. It's probably one of the biggest projects going on right now in the United States. So Unit 2, we currently have 1 unit in Jenkinsville, South Carolina, about an hour slightly northeast of here. And then Unit 2 will come on in 2019. Unit 3 is coming on in 2020. And once we have those 3 nuclear units up and running, we will have a balanced portfolio. So 30% of our energy will be nuclear, 30% will be coal, and 30% will be, what am I forgetting? Natural gas, thank you. And then 10% will be solar, water, etc. So we're going for a balanced portfolio. So I think most of the people in here are related to training and development in some way, shape, or form. You may or may not be reporting into the HR department. But I thought I would share an interesting article that I read from Mercer. It was talking about the top 5 priorities that HR have right now. And so as I'm going over these, just think about how does talent development play into these things? How does it impact us, or how do we impact these priorities? So in this study, it was looking at various organizations and markets, so not a particular industry, just various industries and markets. Number one was building diverse talent pools. So how do we do that? 80% of the organizations in the study are growing their own. In other words, they're promoting from within. So how do we ensure that our people are ready to take on those bigger roles? Of course, talent and development plays a huge part of that. It requires development. But then if we're not growing from within, so that's 82%, what are we doing with the rest of the organization? So we're either hiring from the outside and looking for the right skills, or some of the interesting things that companies are doing are freelancing, bringing in contract workers, or talent sourcing. So you guys may have heard about the freelancing, where let's say we want to create a new marketing campaign and we don't have the time or resources to launch it on our own. We can go to the internet and ask everybody to give us some input, and we would pay them for this input. So you could have 200 people writing a paragraph, and then we narrow that down and take the best of that paragraph. Then we go on to provide the next paragraph. We get 200 people providing input. How does talent and development play in if we're doing crowdsourcing, or if we're bringing in contractors, or we're using freelancing into our workforce? What does our future workforce look like? Are they all working for us, or are they perhaps coming from the outside? So priority number 2, embrace the new work equation. So any guesses, what % of the workforce in the US is made up of millennials? 20%, I heard. Any other guesses? 25? It's actually a third. A third of the workforce in the US is made up of millennials right now, and then by the year 2020, half of the workforce will be made up of millennials. So how do they differ from what we've been used to in the past? So for example, the gentleman in the back who's been part of talent and development for more than 30 years, did I hear you say? Is it 50? Whoa. So how is that changing what we're doing? The millennials are looking for more flexibility, more work-life balance. They want to know, what could they do in terms of personal development to advance their career? Are we providing enough transparency to them to keep them motivated? Number 3 is architecting compelling careers. How are we doing that? What kind of impact are we having? 1 in 3 employees right now are planning to leave their current organization within the next 12 months. So that's keeping the staffing and recruiting organizations moving, but it's mostly because of lack of career progression opportunities. How are we providing that line of sight so that they can see what a career could look like? Priority number 4 is simplifying our talent processes. Can I just see a show of hands? How many of your organizations are considering eliminating performance reviews? You did, okay, only 1. Actually, in this study, it said 50% are considering eliminating performance reviews. So it's more about the conversation. It's more about focusing on the goal than the score. So with what we're doing, are we truly focusing on what the goals are and how we're calibrating those goals? And then number 5, priority number 5 is redefining the value of HR. So we need to be the business experts, no longer the generalists, generally doing everything. But we need to be the business experts and the business partners. We need to be sitting at the table when we're talking about strategy and being a part of creating that strategy. So if you think about disruption, how are our businesses changing? The grand prize for the weekend, which Steph is going to win, hopefully, is the BMW for a weekend. Before I came to SCANA about 2 years ago, I was vice president of HR for BMW, and yes, that's what we drove every day. But you think about what's the kind of disruption that they're seeing right now, driverless cars, right? So how are they including technology into driverless cars? How did the taxi market get disrupted? Uber, exactly. So if you think about your own businesses, how are they being disrupted, and what are we doing to prepare strategically for that future. So again, I just wanted to welcome you to SCANA. I hope you have a wonderful day. Could I see a show of hands? How many of you have been to our facility before? Most of you, great. Hopefully got to come all the way in. The opening is very beautiful. When you first walk in, you're actually walking across the bridge, across the little river, and then the meeting rooms that you're in is what we call SCANA University. So Kara Savastano, you might meet her in the back. She and her team are working on our future vision for SCANA University and how do we continue to evolve as we're looking at our training and development efforts. So thank goodness I didn't have to dance this morning, but welcome to SCANA. Thanks.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. We appreciate those words. And again, welcome to SCANA. I'm Linda Caldwell, and I do have a few areas of housekeeping that I'd like to share with you and some safety briefing messages for you. SCANA is a safety-oriented company. As you can tell when you came through the gate, we are very secure here. But I do want to tell you that as our guests at SCANA, your safety and security is our priority. So because of that, I just want to cover a couple of small things that you should be aware of. In case of a fire alarm, which we would certainly hope that won't happen, but in case it does, Seth, if you could click that one more time, there are fire exits where you came in this morning at Building E, and there's also another door here. If you will just exit out of those doors and head straight to the parking lot, that first parking lot that you came to when you entered, and go to the farthest corner of that. And that'll be your holding place, and hopefully it wouldn't take very long before we came back in there, but we'll just hope we won't need to worry with that. Also, in the event of a tornado, we have had some crazy weather lately. I do want to make sure that you understand where you would go to remain safe here. If you'll exit these doors, the cafeteria is directly across the hall, and then there is a small hallway corridor that goes right alongside the cafeteria. If you'll just take the stairs down there, and there's a basement underneath us with a hallway, and that's where you would remain until you're told to come back up. So thank you for bearing with me for all of that. Just a couple of other things here for you. Your restrooms are directly beside us, right outside of our doors here, and across the hall. The cafeteria, as I mentioned, is directly across the hall from us, and that's where we'll all have lunch today. We are on the bottom two tiers, the second and third tiers, so when you enter those cafeteria doors, just turn left and follow the ramp down, and it'll be a buffet lunch served for you. Our breakout sessions are right behind you. You can go through these doors and take the hallway that you probably came in to enter the auditorium. You can either go out these doors and around the corner, or go out these doors and straight down the hall, and that will be where your breakout sessions are. If you will, please do not bring food or drink into the auditorium. You can take them into the breakout sessions, into those classrooms behind us, but we do want to keep all of our equipment free of debris and certainly no liquids in there. So please work with us on that. No food or drink here in the auditorium. I would also like to ask you all, because your safety and security is a priority to us, it's also a priority for us to keep our employees on the campus safe and secure. So I would also ask for you not to go past the cafeteria area, just stay on this end of the building and not enter the rest of the SCANA campus there. We are a non-smoking campus, so if you will, just refrain from doing any kind of smoking here until you leave if you do smoke. Also, I'd like to ask you, if you would just please make yourself at home. As Anne-Marie mentioned, we certainly do welcome you as our guests here, and we want you to feel comfortable. If I can help you in any way, I will be here all day long today, so please hunt me down and I'll be glad to assist you with whatever your needs may be. Also ask you if you would please clean up after yourselves. We've got quite a few of you here, and we've got a lot of snacks, afternoon snacks, morning snacks, and so on. So if you would just please find the trash cans. There's bins on either side of the auditorium. There's also bins out in the breakout area where the refreshments are, and help us out. I'm sure the committee would appreciate that as well. So with all of that said, I would like to ask you to please return your seats to their upright positions and secure your trays firmly in front of you. And we thank you for flying high with ATD today, and please enjoy your journey.